guys ready?
I think so.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode. I got some really awesome people with me here today. I'm going to push the camera over to their side and let them introduce themselves. And then we're going to get into the best conversation that you've ever heard in your life. The best conversation. So let's start on my right side here. Can you tell people your name and who you are?
I'm Jazmin Kier, and I am an artist, model, massage therapist, singer, songwriter.
Awesome. Thank you for coming. In the middle, who is this person?
No, I'm Supamann Barnes, professional speaker, life coach, also photographer, videographer, and I'm here to make sure that you are amazing.
All right. All right. He shot a commercial right now.
Real quick.
Whole commercial. All right. On my left side here, who do we have?
Well, my name is Kesha, and I am a hairstylist, makeup artist, and salon owner.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining. I would like to start by saying, isn't it fascinating that when someone asks you who you are, you give them like a list of things that you do, right? There can be other, like we can say, hey, I'm an eater. I'm a showerer. I'm a teeth brusher. You know what I mean? Like there's so many other things that we can list, but we list these other attributes, these other things. And I always found that fascinating. And then some people go really deep into like their belief system. Like I'm of this faith and this is, you know what I mean? That's their title when they introduce themselves. And it's like, oh, okay, that's what's up. Like, I'm not here to convert you. I just want to know who you are.
If that's the case, I'm Supamann Barnes, the man of the man of success, the master of the impossible, pal.
Yeah.
My tagline.
I like your stuff, your introductions, Josh, because you tell people I'm going to be the best public speaker that ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when you first meet somebody. You say that. How did you come up with that?
It's not hard. It's hard to define myself as that. It's when I realize what I want to be. And me, I was a very timid child growing up, and I was shy. I was the quietest person in the world. I was going through a lot of issues, traumatic stuff, things like that. It was a day that I talk about a lot, which I'm not going to go too deep into it, but literally I had my back against the wall, and I told myself that this crap will never happen again. I started to define myself. And create steps towards that. So I started reading 100 books a year. I started doing so many different things to collaborate with the fact that I wanted to be the best speaker, that I want to be one of the best photographers, I want to be one of the best videographers. And honestly, I think that is now just in me to where whatever I do, I want to be the best in whatever I say that I'm going to go ahead and attempt in. So
yeah. No, you're intense, bro. I've seen your workout videos. You're doing crazy things. Like you're hitting the peak of, you know, as far as we can push it, right?
Yep.
That's excellent. How do you two, because I want you guys to speak on it too. And also, even though I'm sitting here in the captain chair, you guys can ask me questions and ask each other questions as well.
Oh, we about to get into business.
I moderate. You can ask me questions for sure. I'm just more of a moderator here. But I also, because you two just met right now, right?
Like right now.
So we're getting, we're getting to know each other in real time around here.
Right.
So feel free to ask each other questions about, you know, who you are and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So your business is in beauty.
It is.
And what exactly do you do in beauty? Like, how you, what is it? I don't understand. Yeah, like what do you do?
The best way to describe what I do, obviously it's an art. I do provide, I'm a service provider. So I work with a lot of women from all walks of life. Yeah. And what I do is pour into the women that sit in my chair. So it's not just I came and got my hair done or I came and got my makeup done. It is a complete total experience. And usually it's quite therapeutic. You know, these are not your average women that come to me. For whatever reason, I attract a certain type of woman and we hit it off instantly. It's very rare. It's been like a, we don't really vibe, we don't get along, I'm going to break up with you type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
But all these women like become pieces of me and I become pieces of them.
Yeah.
And they leave with something more than they came with. Yeah. And for me, that's quite fulfilling. And I feel like I'm walking in my purpose with that.
Yeah.
So I do provide beauty services. It wasn't what I thought I was going to do when I got older. You know, I thought I was going to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And then this happened. So, and it's been 14 years, but it's been the best 14 years. A lot of sacrifice that was made to get me to where I'm at today. And it's going to be more sacrifices to get me to where I'm trying to go tomorrow. So,
so sacrifices, is that inevitable in success?
Absolutely.
Like there has to be some type of sacrifice.
There is no way. And I don't mean to like just let me.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll speak the
There
truth.
is absolutely no way you can say you want to do something, be great at something, and not have to give up something to get that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you got to do things that you've never had to do before to get the results that you've never had before. And when you're doing that, you are sacrificing. You're going to sacrifice money. You're going to sacrifice time. You might even sacrifice relationships.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Speak, Kesha?
At the end of I'm sorry.
No.
But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that what you are sacrificing is actually worth the return on your investment.
Yes.
And
Say
if
that
it is
again.
not, and if it is not, you need to rethink your strategy. And I'm so serious because a lot of people will sacrifice the things that they really need to get them to where they're supposed to go. Because I believe in divine intervention. I believe God brings people and things into your space for a reason because he has a path for you. And when you deviate outside of that and you're doing what you want to do and not what you know you're supposed to be doing, you're going to go down a whole nother path. That might take you 40 years to get out of when it should have just took you 4 days. And I'm not trying to get biblical.
No, get biblical.
That it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So you got to really be mindful of what it is that you're going to sacrifice, and it better be worth it. Because if it's not going to be worth it, you did all of that in vain and it was for nothing.
Yeah.
And I can't.
I love that return on investment that she said, because you really got to look at your life right now and realize the quality of life that you are having. And if it's not where it is, what have you been investing in that is causing your life to be the way it is? Like a lot of people try to blame people, try to point fingers somewhere. But until we are able to point the fingers at ourselves and say, okay, it's because I'm not doing X, Y, Z. It's because I'm over here scrolling on Facebook all day. It's because I'm over here watching TV 3 hours a day. Like, what am I going to be willing to let go of in order for me to obtain the life that I truly want? Yeah. So I love that. High five.
I call that a lazy spirit.
Yeah.
We all have it. It's called procrastination.
The thing I showed y'all, sloth, right?
True.
It's in the
I didn't see that, but go ahead.
So I designed my my company employee handbook based off of the 7 deadly sins. And keeping those out of my business, right?
Absolutely.
So you have, greed, sloth, envy, pride, what am I missing? Gluttony and lust, I think. Yeah. So your business is a spirit, right? You want to feed it good things. You want it to be healthy, vibrant. So you want to keep those things out of it.
Absolutely.
So I was like, what are the things I don't want in my business?
Right.
And I noticed that people, there's something that happens when like attractive people get around other attractive people or people they're attracted to. Let's say they're not even attractive. Like they're attracted to them. Like, hey, pick someone else out there and no one in here, because if it don't work out with y'all, it's going to mess up my situation here. And I need the skills that both of y'all bring here.
Yeah.
So, I get physical attraction and, how that works, but I'm like, I just don't need that in my business. So that's a big one. And then greed is the other big one, where people feel entitled. The ego, as you said, Jazz, they feel like they are deserving of more and they take more and they manipulate and things like that. And I was like, especially in the music business, my primary business is want to keep that out of it.
I love that because it really shows you that in all sorts and forms of relationship, you got to learn how to create boundaries.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have boundaries, then anything can happen. And it's like you put a group of starving people in a room together with one piece of sandwich. What's going to happen?
Die.
Yeah. So in order for you to be able to create a business to where everybody is utilizing their gifts effectively, you got to learn how to create that boundary to where, okay, so why don't I create these set of rules so that they don't touch the sandwich, and maybe I will have enough time to cut it up in a place to where we all get a piece, a share. So I love the fact that you do that with your business. A lot of people don't. Like, I need to work on mine as well. I told you that I don't really have mine all set up like that, but I love it that you have it in such a spiritual way too. Because now when you're presenting it to people, you realize that it's not just about business. It's about how you're trying to construct people's spirit, how you're trying to construct people as individuals so that when they go out into the world from your business, they are taking a piece of an energy that is going to make them more powerful, stronger, better because of how you got your business set up.
Yeah. I studied pyramid schemes, and I was like, man, there's some things in pyramid schemes that are functional as far as bringing in somebody, giving them the tools, and allowing them to empower like other people to make them successful. I was like, how can we take that without the pyramid scheme part?
Take the scheme out of the pyramid.
Take the scheme out of the pyramid.
It is necessary. Building blocks, you know what I'm saying? Building relationships, that's necessary. It's when people are using like manipulation, like y'all touched on, ego, like you touched on. Like not doing things for themselves instead of like remembering their why. Like that's where people start getting off track.
Right.
Yeah, this is so dope, and I'm so happy that you had something really dope to say right now, because you're like an you're an omnivert like I am.
Jump in.
Yo, it's all good. It's all good. Pick your spots and hit it. You know what I mean? We jumping rope. You gotta jump in.
Double dutching like that. So I'll figure it out.
Yeah, of course. So I want to ask you guys a question. How do you guys feel about spirituality and like divination things? How do you guys feel about that? Is that like, do you want me to explain what I mean?
When you say divination, what do you mean?
Elaborate.
So divination to me, how I define it are things like how people use astrology, how people use numerology, how people use, it can be anything. It can be some chicken bones. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, wait a minute. Because that is a part of
some divination.
Yeah.
They throw some chicken bones and hey, that spilled the litter. Like, so, but how do you guys feel about those things?
I'll go first since you spoke the last.
Wait a
You might
minute.
go first.
I mean, okay, so what's the question? How do we feel about divination?
Yeah,
How that works into business, or
maybe how it works into your.
So I'm trying to follow.
Yeah,
I think, and that's the thing. It's so broad. Everybody
very
has a
broad.
different perspective. There's spirituality. There's religion. You know, there's what you've grown up doing and like going to a church or something.
So what does it mean to you then?
So let me also further define it.
Okay.
Divination is also a tool that people use to better understand their reality. So it can be a religion. You can use divine scripture. You know what I mean? You can divinate from whatever you pick up, and if it resonates to you when you read it, then that is a form of divination, even when people speak to you. So I want to know for you in your personal life and how you resonate with divination, and what tools of anything resonate with you in that.
I feel like for me, spirituality is like a lifestyle. I wasn't always just spiritual. I was actually religious growing up, but it was a matter of me just unlearning certain things, starting to kind of fit things to my understanding and, you know, what I believe in.
Yeah.
I respect other religions, you know, and divination itself, but I believe in more so just having that connection within my higher self. And then I also believe in connecting with like my elders, my honorable ancestors.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really like honoring those that came before me, that created a way. It's really like understanding the universe as well, like the laws of the universe. And I believe in God, you know, but I also respect other religions, or other belief systems. But for me, it's definitely a part of my daily walk and a part of whatever I do. So like I just recorded a song, you know, that what those lyrics said, like that means something to me. I feel like spiritually, that means something to me from my ancestors. It's more than just for me, but it helps me. It gives me like a compass.
Yes.
In life. So.
Yes. Josh, how does it resonate with you?
So I was very religious when I was growing up, and I'm not mad at it because I'm grateful for the journey that God put me on. And I was Jehovah's Witness at first, and then I started studying more, and I realized that I was getting called towards something else. And then I went to Church of Christ, which I realized that it has a lot of similarities to Jehovah's Witness, which I know that there are some people that's in there, so I'm not going to really say so much because I respect it. So then I started going to non-denominational, and then I started going to Church of God in Christ, so on and so forth. And then I love the word that she used. I started to really study deeper. In order for me to study deeper, I had to unlearn a lot of things that the preacher tells us on the pulpit versus what it says in the Bible.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things that is being preached on is not exactly what the Bible says. It's like they take a little verse and then they make it into their own thing versus taking it for what it actually is. So I started reading the Bible deeper and in more depth. And then I also started studying upon other religions and stuff like that so I could find deeper meaning. And I realized that there's a lot of similarities to a lot of religions. A lot of them have 12 disciples. A lot of them, the person died for love and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the more I learned, the more I realized I don't know. So the more I realized I was ignorant. So I say that my religion is two things. It's ignorance. And ignorance means that you don't know everything. The more I learn, I realize I don't know. Like, I'm not going to be boastful. I'm not going to put myself on a pedestal. And I realize how small I am compared to how big the world is.
Yes.
So in that means I'm not going to talk down on you saying that you're going to go to hell. I'm not going to talk down on you saying that you're wrong because I don't know everything myself. Like, I could be doing something wrong right now. Like, maybe when I twitch my pinky and God is like, or when I do something, like, I'm not sure if God is a he, a her, a it, and maybe going beyond something like from our imagination. Like, why are we limiting it to what flesh is? Flesh is man, flesh is woman. So when we go outside of that, maybe it's just pure spiritual to where we can't understand. So my religion is love.
Yeah.
No matter what, I want to give as much love as possible before the day I die. So that is what I need to do on this earth, because if I'm trying to focus on the things that I will never know completely, then all I'm going to do is waste time telling people how to live their life when I'm not absolutely sure. But one thing I do know is that God, the universe, frequency, spirituality, everything corresponds with love. So if I do that at the very least, I am perfectly fine what happens with the afterlife, because I'm doing it not for me. I'm doing it for my greater self, for others and everything. So whatever that equates to in my afterlife, I am fine with.
Yes, yes, yes. Follow that.
I don't know if I could like. I feel like we gonna battle tonight. No, I'm just kidding. So, my story is quite interesting. I did not grow up in church. I've gone to church several times. They even tried to throw me in the choir a few times, but I wasn't like raised in church. I got into church when I was literally 28 years old. That's when I committed myself. And it was mainly because I understood history. So I really got where I'm at today based on just one big history lesson. Yeah. And I had to unlearn a lot of the things that I was taught to with Christianity and, you know, Pentecostal and, you know, all Baptist, just all these different branches of religion. I had to unlearn that because that's not what started spirituality in the first place.
Yeah,
that was
there's a difference.
It was created, and I'm not trying to go on a rant here, but from what I believe, it was created after Jesus Christ was crucified. There is a lot of different denominations post Jesus Christ dying. Prior to him, it wasn't really a whole lot going on. Yeah. But with that being said, it's just one big ball of history. When you're talking about the stars and the moon and the angels and the stones and all these things. Yes. And astrology, that's all in the Bible. Like, let's just keep it a buck right now. If you really read the Bible, they talk about that. Yes. They look at the moon, like they talk about that. And even when you go into the zodiac, like it's so deep, but it's history more than it is anything else.
Yeah.
And you hit the nail on the head when you said my religion is love, because ultimately that's what God wants us to do, is to love each other like Christ loved the church, like as brothers and sisters. And we have to operate in that. No judgment. It's just so much more to all of this than just casting a stone into a glass house when you dirty too, so it's really not, don't judge, just love each other.
Yes.
Unconditionally love each other, because that's what they do. That's what he does for us, or it, or whatever that may be, whatever the hierarchy is, us. So
it's fascinating because we're doing our best to articulate what this is with the words we have available to us.
Absolutely.
And we know
that's man.
Yeah.
That's man. That's flesh. That's not spirituality.
Yes.
When you tap into your spiritual self, like you said, when you talk with your ancestors, some of that is just, it's a nonverbal thing. Yeah. It's a feeling. It's an emotion. Yeah. It is like, it's a being that takes over you, and you know what it is, especially when you can't talk.
Yes.
So that's also biblical too. So at the end of the day, we're all right. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? We're just saying it, we're translating it differently, but we're all right.
Not only are we right, because, there can be more than one truth. I appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts on this, because this is the conversation that has to happen between people that are spiritual, that are religious. We can't let these different narratives pop up and divide us, divide our community. There isn't
happening.
Yeah, there doesn't have to be a war between religion and different religions, or spiritual versus religion, or people that use these tools versus these other divination tools. It doesn't have to be that type of conflict here. And in fact, we all really need each other. We all specialize and have gifts that were given to us.
That talks about that in the Bible too.
Yes, and we all have specialties and things that we do, and we have to work together. So
that's what I love too. It's like once we realize that, like, I think that God came down in multiple forms because we knew how ignorant we were. Like, we was going to be divided, and we're going to treat things like it's a gang. Like, oh, I'm Church of Christ Pentecostal. Oh, I'm Baptist. Oh, I'm not a denomination. Like, we treat it like it's gang banging.
Why you make it sound like gang banging in churches?
I'm just saying.
From Compton, right?
That's literally how it's taken. Like, a lot of people treat it as if it's something that's supposed to be a source of division versus what it was intended for us to come together to create love. Literally, God say, do not judge. And the very first thing we do when we see somebody is judge. That's why I could go to a Buddhist monk, I could go to a Christian, I could go to whoever it is, and go to their facility and worship God, because I know what God is.
Yes.
And I don't know what God is. And I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm understanding more and more. It's like to treat God as if he's or she or it or they is in a box. I think it's selfish, because God is limitless. We are limitless. We are children of God. So if we have a piece of that power, we got to understand that we are miniature gods ourselves, not gods with a capital G, but we are a form and a source from him. So we have that same power to tap in.
We were created in his image.
Exactly. So if we're created in that image, then we should be able to understand the limitless power that God has, because every time we went through a situation, there was things that happened to us that we was able to overcome and get out of, and we have no explanation of it, but it's like when there was a call to action, we was able to do it. So to put God inside of a box and think that that's it,
it's infinite.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
Yeah. And my pushback, I want people to have the coping skills to be able to critically think against indoctrination.
Thank you.
So we're all indoctrinated. We're programmed. We go to school, we say the Pledge of Allegiance. We don't even know what it is. We're just why are we saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
Right.
It's just words to us, but we're throwing it up for America. You gotta go, Josh?
No, time out.
Oh.
Well, no, you're not recording off of the cameras.
I'm not recording off the cameras.
Okay, never mind. I have a 30-minute time.
Audio?
No, this is a video.
It's video. He's using the thing. So if it was memory cards, A7 Mark III have a 30-minute time limit.
Oh, it's about to cut off. Well, we're about to hit our.
Are they recording, or are you?
They're still recording. I can still.
Are these recording?
They're recording through here.
So yeah, so that's fine. As long as it's not recording on there, that has a time limit on there.
Oh,
here you're fine. So never mind. No time out.
Okay, man. No, we're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that in the show because we're just gonna let our viewers know how raw this show is. Get some technical breaks there.
I'm the videographer, so I always try to make sure that everything is smooth.
Yeah, no, understandable, man. And I really appreciate you coming here, teaching the skills and things, sharing knowledge with me. What I really like, you kind of do the same thing I do. You pull in people to come back to your shows because you've been here before. Jazz has been here before. And I like that. I feel like if you work well with someone, pull them back in and keep building with them. You know, it's not just a one and done thing. Like, let's continue to create.
They family for life. we gonna be 80 years old. I'll be hitting them up like, hey, you wanna do a podcast?
Okay, you trying to get me canceled by the senior community? Like, how dare you? Someone is offended out there, and I'm gonna give them your address.
I do that. I'm sorry.
Were you about to say something?
I have a question.
Yes.
This has been on my brain for months.
Let it go.
How do you guys feel about these gender wars?
Oh. Get over here. So I want to kind of start off with the gender war thing is again
and what it's doing to our community.
Yeah.
That's important.
So in my opinion, there is a distortion of reality that's occurring through media.
Absolutely.
So it's hard for people to get the reality and the truths of things because people are making it into entertainment and they're using it for profit and it goes into greed and all of that stuff.
Preach, Fleek.
So we get figures like Kevin Samuels and all these
unhealed figures. Let me be very specific.
we get these what are they called? Influencers, thought people, whatever you want to call them, that exploit this distortion and they'll use it to manipulate it for their own gain than actually trying to help and heal someone, speak life into them, right? So my opinion is that it isn't as bad as we think it is, but it is very bad because when I talk to my single friends about their dating lives and just the mentality of that people have in trying to actually pick a partner, I'm like, whoa.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
it is. And I'm trying to keep it rated PG by saying disgusting. And I think what's also happening is you've got a lot of hurt little children stuck in adult bodies creating a platform and spewing their ideology on other hurt people who have yet to be able to identify, I'm actually hurt and I actually need to sit down with someone and unpack some things so I can be a better version of myself. But I'm going to identify with you because it sounds like you're talking to me. I can relate to what you're saying. So what you're saying must be right.
You got people that's patting you on the back.
Exactly. And that's not the case because now what you're doing is trauma bonding with a lot of people from different places all over the world. And it does create a form of toxicity. And it's a dangerous game that's being played right now. Because we have other generations before us that is paying attention, you know? And I think what's frustrating for me is the bashing that Black women get right now. But I also, because I'm not going to leave Black men out on this, but I also get sad with the amount of bashing Black men get. And I think there needs to be some sort of honest moment of truth and just say, okay, we all have problems. We all have hurt. something have happened to all of us, you know, but at the end of the day, to our core, we need each other because at one point, nobody wanted us
Preach,
here.
Kesha.
You know what I'm saying? And at one point, we had to work together to dig ourselves out of the stuff that we were thrown into that we didn't ask to be thrown into in the first place. So we have to get back to that space. And how do we do that? It's a lot.
Yeah.
To be very transparent with you, but I think it's doable, but people have to be willing to do the work. I just want to see our community really be stronger than what it is because it's being broken down like really, really, really bad. And I have a son that is going to be 23. I have a daughter that's going to be 25 and they see this stuff. And I have to go in with positive reinforcement to my son and say, there's nothing wrong with you. You are perfectly fine. You know what I mean? I have to go and tell my daughter, it is okay if you cry. It is okay if you have a moment of vulnerability and weakness. It doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. It means you're having a human experience. So.
Oh, it's still good. It's still good. Yeah.
So,
I got it on here. I
have to fight against that to try to protect my own children's minds.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And their spirit. And so I'm working triple time, not even overtime, but triple time to make sure that I do the absolute best that I can because I'm up against a whole machine right now.
Social media
is like, very toxic and there's gotta be some point where we can, it needs to stop.
I think you're doing a good thing by having a conversation with your kids though.
Oh, absolutely.
Just that alone is going to help them make sense of all of it. Like their generation is very different than our generation. Absolutely. And
long shot.
Yeah. Like I hear the type of conversations about 50-50, about
I'm sorry.
Even not having a good understanding of masculinity and femininity.
Duality.
What is the duality of it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What actually is toxic behavior and things like that? It's just a lot of distortion. So we got to keep talking to them. I know you got something.
Look, okay, first of all, let me apologize because when you said gender wars, I thought you was talking about like a whole different community.
Well, I mean, we can talk about that too, but no, I'm talking about Black women and Black men.
Okay.
But you mean like what is a woman? Is that what you mean?
LGBTQ.
Like LGBTQ.
Yeah. I thought we was talking about those words. I was like, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but as far as the healing goes, like I definitely feel like, man, it's an inner work that you got to do for sure. Absolutely. You have to start within yourself. Yeah. But unfortunately, it gets passed down, I feel like, genetically as well. So if you're not learning, then the next generation is not learning, and the next and then we have these curses that are just following us until somebody finally realizes, like, I can heal. You know what I mean? I am better than that. I don't, just because, you know, maybe mom didn't understand, don't whoop me, speak to me. Maybe dad didn't understand, like, coming home will actually make me, you know, feel more secure than being out there all the time, or just whatever people are going through at home.
Yeah.
And in parenting, I feel like it can definitely be broken. It's just a matter of the inner work, the understanding. I've mentioned that before, the understanding.
One of my favorite words now.
Yeah. and one of mine too, because I feel like you have to go within to really be able to heal what is going on with you. You can't be looking for the answer on the outside. You can't be looking for that outside of home. Going back to spirituality, like talking to God, finding yourself, understanding your path is like, I feel like ultimately what can heal whatever you've gone through in the past. But the gender wars part, because I'm getting off topic, as far as men and women go, the duality is important. It definitely helps to have two figures in the home to show that. But unfortunately, some people have to learn, like we have to relearn shit. We have to teach ourselves. We have to figure out what that looks like. Even like women balancing masculine and feminine energy. Like I remember seeing so many different like ways of them saying it, but a woman will automatically turn on her masculinity when she doesn't feel safe anymore. Absolutely. You know, when she can't be soft, she's gonna kick into that. And then men want to, you know, battle with women about you be too independent or, you know, give you like assign you a role. And it's like, I'm cool going 50-50 with somebody just because I've had to do it all on my own. So at least having that other 50 would be dope.
Absolutely.
But when you have to do it so long by yourself, it's like, damn, like that's when that healing got to kick in, because otherwise you really finna be out here resenting everybody, and then it's gonna get passed down to your relationships, your friendships, your children's relationships with you. Like, it's deep.
Yeah. I think the 50-50 comes from a space where people feel like they're just tired of being taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really what this is about. But you also have to you have to have self accountability as to why did you allow yourself to be taken advantage of? What was your motivating factor in partaking in these activities in the first place? What was it that made you say, I gotta do this and I gotta do that in order for you to even give me the time of the day? Because that's where you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I contributed to this. And my biscuits done got burnt. And now I want you to go half with me. You know what I mean? And that's where it's like, okay, I played a role in this, and I got to unlearn some things too. So
I remember when I turned 21, I went to a 21 and up club, and I was like, it was an experience for me to buy a drink. And that was the first time I learned that, like, you can buy a woman a drink, right? So this woman started talking to me, and I was like enjoying the attention, and we talked for like an hour. Like, we were just chatting it up. I bought her a drink. She got the drink, and she's like, peace. And I was like, what? You talked to me and we connected and all that just for a $7 drink. And that to me was like my first signal. Like, maybe some people are playing a game, like a different kind of game or a long game or whatever you want to call it. And they'll do it to get, it's like survival, right? They're unhealed. And so they have these survival things that they're putting in effect. Like, oh, she made me believe like she was a genuine person, like trying to connect with me just to get the $7 drink. That was wild. And then I had that in my mind, but I didn't stay hurt. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't care. I'll buy everyone a drink. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to affect my night. I just know that that's now a possibility.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Josh, we're looking at you.
Well, look at that.
Let me tell you.
Like, all y'all can't be at the same time.
Because we know you got something to say, bro.
Like, so.
You about to give us the motivational.
Well, because there's a lot that y'all said, and I love that all of you talked about the inner issues that come with it that we have to heal from. I think we was misled by movies, R&B songs while growing up to cultivate a false reality, a false sense of how relationships work. Like, I thought that I was going to go to Chicago one day, it was going to start snowing, and I was going to see the girl of my dreams. Man, I went outside, it started snowing. I want to go down, I want to go down, I want to go down. It's like we created these false interpretations.
Into the fantasy.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people did, because a lot of people get into the first relationship and just want to give up. Or they deal with 2 people and they want to give up. They deal with 3 people and want to give up. Like, you're going to judge every single man or woman that's in the world based off of the 3 people that you dated, then you don't truly understand how relationships really work, because each relationship is teaching you more about yourself. And you have to understand that you have to level up and become more after every relationship.
Right.
Like, what did I do? What didn't I do? What do I like? What don't I like? Like, what can I take in the personal responsibility in this relationship so that I could gain power and give it more to the next person that I'm with, so that I can become an asset versus a liability. I think a lot of people now are becoming liabilities because they're allowing their pain to become their definition. Yeah, exactly. So now when you're being manipulated and run by pain, then you got these people that wants to like punch their chest out and show how macho they are, the alpha males is coming out, or calling people beta males. Or I think that we live in a society right now where we're trying to do everything in our power to control the situation versus creating a place to where we create understanding. And when we are over here trying to force people to be the way that we want them to be, then there's going to be so much conflict, because I'm not here to be your God. I'm not here to be your puppet master. I'm here to make your life better. I'm here to not bring you peace, but be another piece of peace. You have to learn how to find your own peace.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take control of your own life. And I think that a lot of people have fallen into their pain, their trauma, the drama, the issues. Like, even the past. Like, I think that we need to let go of how things was back in the day. I'm so sick of people talking about back in the day. Like, back in the day.
Nah, back in the day it was worse.
I was about to say, back in the day, we didn't have, how many of us grew up with our fathers? Like, raise your hand if you grew up with your father.
I did.
Okay. So 50 right now.
Yeah.
So when you go to the hood, majority of us didn't grow up with our father. I only seen 2 or 3 men that was consistent, that was in the hood, over 400 or 500 kids that was in there. So they didn't really know life like that. And it's plus, you got to think about how situations was. Whatever happens in this house, stay in this house type mentality.
Yeah.
So they was very very issue bound and holding everything in to where they outleashed it on their wives. They outleashed it on their kids. Well, a lot of us got beat. A lot of us got molested. A lot of us got all these things down the road because of the fact that they never healed. But they want to say back in the day wasn't all that good. And we need to let go of the interpretation of what music videos, music, TV shows, and all this other people talk about back in the day. Even some of our parents, I look at some of our parents, aunties and stuff, I see that they went through so much hell.
Yeah.
And they think that, like, that's how life was supposed to be. That's not how life's supposed to be. Like, we got to take ownership of our present. Like 50-50 now, like, I get it. I understand. We are not where we used to be. Houses does not cost the same amount that they used to. Cars don't cost the same amount as they used to. 50-50 isn't bad. If you need 50-50, then do 50-50.
Yeah.
If you can take care of your wife, then that's a beautiful blessing. That means you're in a financial situation to where you got it under control. Not everybody is blessed with that opportunity at the moment. So we have to learn how to evaluate ourselves and figure out what we need to do in our present so that we can open up this gift and be able to present people with happiness. But instead, we're taking it out and trying to pull out things to create self-sabotage, to create friction, to create trauma, to create pain, because we felt pain from the 2 or 3 people that we dated. Nobody never taught us about relationships. That's taboo. Nobody talk about sex. That's taboo.
Yeah.
I tell everybody I'm blunt, Josh. I tell you every single little detail, and I am perfectly fine with that. If you're uncomfortable, let me know. But if you're cool with it, I'm going to tell you every single detail, because I want you to know that you could talk to me about anything, everything, and I'm gonna talk to you about anything and everything, because we need to start creating that space to where this stuff doesn't sound weird when we talk about it. Because say, for instance, if you get into a relationship and you have a high sex drive and your man don't have a high sex drive, but then you're thinking that he don't love you, when really it's just like he has to go through his situation to try to figure out how to bump up his libido. So
so he can please me.
Exactly. So if we, the way she said
That was passionate. That was perfect.
So that he can please her. But if we don't have those conversations, then her mind is just going to be roaming and thinking that he don't love me. He's over here doing it to somebody else and all this other stuff.
But to kind of piggyback off of that, we have to create a safe space for our partners to be able to come to us and tell us,
to create that understanding.
I'm struggling in this area. Like, what can we do?
Yeah.
But when you don't create that safe space, or let's say that the safe space was created, but they still make a decision not to come and have that conversation with you and create other scenarios outside of you because they don't feel comfortable, it still causes conflict. So you have to be really ready to
be uncomfortable. Have those conversations.
And have those conversations. And then also be okay with saying, you know what, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
And I can respect you because this ain't for me.
Let me tell y'all a post that I literally just made a few days ago that talked about uncomfortability, and I loved it with a passion. So
we don't want to join your cult, Josh.
I'm sorry, you're in it.
You don't want to be in
Fleek,
the cult,
you're in it. You are in
Stop trying to initiate us in your cult. Right?
Okay, here it goes. So uncomfortable doesn't equate to unhappiness. If that which makes you comfortable is the very reason that's making you unhappy. Proof that we are not so always supposed to go about things purely based off how we feel. Sometimes you got to rewire your thinking and get out of your comfort to go after your happiness. That is the moment when you have to decide to finally face against the piece of who you are that's weighing you down to become who you want to be. Change isn't easy because it's you defeating your current self. That means no matter how amazing you are, no matter how dope you see yourself, you still acknowledge your weakness and decide to work on them consistently. This, to me, is the peak of maturity.
I heard that, and you know what I thought? When people decide that they want to go to the gym and work out and transform their body.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely.
Don't nobody want to go to the gym.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And don't nobody want to feel that pain the next day.
Mm-mm.
You are very uncomfortable. But when you're committed to being that level of being uncomfortable because you see the end result. And that's the driving factor to keep saying, I'm gonna keep burning, I'm gonna keep squatting, I'm gonna keep lifting weights, I'm gonna keep doing my cardio, I'm gonna keep feeling that pain the next day because I am changing my body, I am transforming my body. And I'm putting myself in a space where I'm going to feel better about myself because I'm going to look better. And I'm changing the things that I don't like and I'm turning them into something that I do like. And it's a journey. So it all comes full circle, you know.
And then that level of consistency.
And that goes back to sacrifice, like what we talked about when we first started this podcast.
That's that discipline and self-love too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that level of consistency will eventually make you fall in love with that pain too. Like once you start doing the things that you're supposed to do, even though you're uncomfortable doing it in your present moment, eventually that soreness feels good. It makes you realize that you are accomplished. It makes you realize that, okay, my body is having a chemical reaction based off of the actions that I'm taking. So now I'm transforming my life and putting into the atmosphere of exactly who I want to be. And then it translates to so many other things. Like once you start working out, you start wanting to be able to go on podcasts more often. You start wanting to go talk to people more often. You start feeling more comfortable with dancing. You start going out more often because of the fact that when you're putting yourself in a position to do the things that you're supposed to do, you're telling your body it's time to live. Yes. And a lot of us ain't living because we are too comfortable with not doing the things that we know we're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
That goes back to that lazy spirit.
Yeah.
But it's all full circle. It's all full circle, no matter how you slice it.
I think it becomes a lazy spirit when you know what you should be doing,
and
but you don't do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, then it becomes, so some people are
do that.
Yeah. Or you haven't created that routine of discipline. So then that's something that we can instill in our younger generation. Yeah, creating that routine of discipline. Guys, I appreciate you jumping on the show.
We're not done yet. I want 5 more topics.
It's like later than a mug up in this thing. And, I got to go catch a flight. I'm going to Washington, D.C. tomorrow.
Ooh,
so,
Chocolate City.
Yeah. Why is it called that?
Because we chocolate.
Oh.
I don't know. It's always been called Chocolate City.
Jazz, did you feel like singing right now? You feel like doing singing for us?
Yes. No, sing us that song that you did over there.
Do you want to sing that song? You want to do something else right now?
What's on your spirit right now? Sleep.
My spirit's feeling sleepy.
I don't know. Something. Let me see. What does spirit like me to do right now?
I really liked what you performed for us in the room over there. But
okay, so you want me to do that?
You want to run it back? I really love that because it feels appropriate for...
Right. In light of Black History Month. I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night. So I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home. far across the river. Do you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones.
Okay.
I think that's the perfect song to lead Fleek into Washington, D.C. Let's go.
Travel friend.
Incredible. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So beautiful. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching the podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more episodes.